Yo, Falcons Nation! Drop whatever you're doing right now because I've got some breaking news that's about to change everything you thought you knew about the 2025 season. I'm not talking about some minor roster move or practice squad signing. No. I'm talking about a seismic shift that's going to have ripple effects across the entire National Football League. But before I blow your mind with what just went down in Flowery Branch, let me paint you a picture. Close your eyes for a second. Actually, don't close them because you need to watch this video, but imagine this: it's February 2026, confetti is falling, and your Atlanta Falcons are hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Sounds crazy? Well, after what I'm about to tell you, it's going to sound a lot more realistic. You see, while you were sleeping, while you were going about your Monday morning routine, while other fan bases were arguing about draft picks and free agency rumors, your front office was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. And the move they just made? It's the kind of move that separates champions from everyone else. But first, let me ask you something that's been burning in my mind. What do the 1990s Cowboys dynasty, the 2000s Patriots empire, and the recent Chiefs dominance all have in common? Think about it for a second. Got it? If you said elite offensive line play, then ding ding ding, we have a winner. And guess what? The Falcons just took a massive step toward joining that elite company. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Come on, man, it's August. Preseason hasn't even really started yet. How can one move be that important? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because by the time I'm done explaining what just happened, you're going to be calling your boss to request time off for the Super Bowl parade. Here's the thing that separates the great franchises from the mediocre ones: they understand that championships aren't built with flashy signings that make headlines on ESPN. No! Championships are built in the trenches, with the guys who show up every single day, who do the dirty work, who protect the investments you've made at the skill positions. And speaking of investments, let me tell you about a number that should have every Falcons fan doing backflips right now: 92 out of 93. That's not a test score, that's not a completion percentage, that's the number of games one particular player has started when healthy for your Atlanta Falcons. That's reliability. That's consistency. That's what we in the business call franchise cornerstone material. But wait, there's more. Because this isn't just about one player, this is about building something special, something that hasn't been seen in the NFL in years. While other teams are dealing with holdouts, contract disputes, and offensive line shuffles that would make your head spin, the Falcons are doing something that's going to be studied in front offices for decades. So here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. Caleb McGarry just got extended through 2027. But hold on, before you say that's nice and move on with your day, let me explain why this is bigger than you think. McGarry isn't just any offensive tackle. This man has been destroying defensive ends since the Falcons selected him with the 31st pick in the 2019 draft. Remember that draft? The one where we also got Chris Lindstrom? That draft is looking more and more like the foundation of a championship team. But here's where it gets really interesting, and I mean edge of your seat, can't look away interesting. With this extension, the Falcons have now locked up their entire starting offensive line core. McGarry, Lindstrom, Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron, they're all under contract together. Do you know how rare that is in today's NFL? I did the research, only 3 other teams in the entire league have this kind of offensive line continuity. And let me tell you why that matters. In the last 3 seasons with this group together, the Falcons have been top 5 in rushing yards, top 5 in yards per carry, top 5 in rushing touchdowns. You think that's a coincidence? You think that just happens? No way! That's what happens when you have an offensive line that's been working together like a well-oiled machine. Now, let's talk about the evolution that's happening right before our eyes. See, McGarry isn't just staying the same, he's transforming. With our new left-handed quarterback situation, and yes, I'm talking about Michael Penix Jr., the future of this franchise, McGarry becomes something even more valuable: the blindside protector. For those of you who don't know, protecting a left-handed quarterback's blindside means moving from right tackle to essentially becoming the most important pass protector on the field. It's like going from being a great guitarist to suddenly becoming the lead guitarist. And guess what? In the 3 games where McGary had to make this switch last season, he gave up exactly 1 sack. 1. That's not just good, that's elite. Jake Matthews, our veteran left tackle who's been in this league since 2014, had this to say about McGary: "I think he's a special player. Just respect him. Going into 7 years with him, I really think he's really improved a lot, and I'm expecting him to be solid and one of the staple guys on this offensive line." When a future Ring of Honor member says that about you, you know you're doing something right. But wait, there's more context that makes this even better. Tom Pelissero broke this news, and when Pelissero breaks offensive line news, you know it's significant. This isn't some random Tuesday transaction, this is a statement move. Let me break down the genius of this timing. By extending McGary now, before he hits the open market after this season, the Falcons are doing several things. They're showing loyalty to a homegrown player, they're avoiding a bidding war that could have cost them millions more, and most importantly, they're sending a message to the rest of the roster: if you buy in, if you produce, we'll take care of you. And speaking of taking care of players, let's talk about what this means for the rest of the offense. You think Bijan Robinson is excited about this news? You think Tyler Allgeier is pumped? Of course they are. Because they know that with this offensive line staying together, those rushing lanes are going to be wider than the Georgia Dome used to be. But it's not just about the running game, though trust me, that running game is about to be legendary. This is about pass protection too. McGary himself said something fascinating about playing in modern NFL offenses. In modern offenses, a quarterback is going to turn a lot when he's reading the field. There's not really a blind side because at some point, his back is going to be to each side pretty much no matter what. Still just trying not to give up a sack ever. That's not just football IQ, that's championship mentality. He's not making excuses, he's not complaining about switching sides, he's focused on one thing: protecting his quarterback. And when you have that kind of mindset from your offensive line, magical things happen. Now, let me connect the dots for you on what this really means for 2025 and beyond. The Falcons aren't just keeping an offensive tackle, they're maintaining the infrastructure that's going to support whatever offensive coordinator Zach Robinson wants to do. You want to run power football? This line can do it. You want to go 5 wide and air it out? This line can protect. You want to run RPOs and get creative? This line has the intelligence and chemistry to handle it. And here's a stat that's going to blow your mind. Since McGary became the full-time starter in 2020, the Falcons have had a top 10 rushing attack in 3 of the 4 seasons. The only year they didn't? 2022, when the entire offense was trying to figure itself out. But even then, McGary graded out as one of the best run-blocking tackles in the entire NFL according to Pro Football Focus. But let's talk about this Friday for a second. While we're celebrating this extension, the Falcons are heading to Mercedes-Benz Stadium for a preseason showdown that's going to give us our first real look at how this offense operates in 2025. And guess who's going to be out there, pancaking defenders and opening holes? That's right, Caleb McGary. Now, I've been covering this team for a while, and I've seen a lot of moves that made me scratch my head. But this is what smart organizations do. They identify their core players, the guys who embody the culture, who show up every single day, and they lock them down. Think about the message this sends to the locker room. It says we value the guys who grind. It says we reward consistency. It says we're building something special here, and if you're part of it, we'll make sure you're here for the whole ride. And for those of you wondering about the financial side, and I know you money-minded fans are out there, this is also a brilliant business move. Offensive tackle salaries are only going up. By extending McGary now, the Falcons are probably saving millions compared to what they'd have to pay on the open market or with the franchise tag. But here's the real kicker, and this is where it gets exciting: this McGary extension is just the first domino. My sources are telling me there's more coming. The Falcons aren't done building this fortress. They're not satisfied with just being competitive, they want to dominate. And let's be real for a second, in a division with the Saints' defensive line, the Buccaneers' pass rush, and whatever chaos the Panthers are cooking up, you need an elite offensive line. You could have all the skill position talent in the world, but if your quarterback is on his back or your running back is getting hit in the backfield, none of it matters. That's why this move is so crucial. The Falcons aren't just thinking about 2025, they're thinking about 2026, 2027, and beyond. They're building something sustainable. Something that can weather injuries, adapt to new schemes, and most importantly, protect the franchise. And speaking of the franchise, let me paint you one more picture before we wrap this up. It's January 2026, the Falcons are in the playoffs, and they're facing a team with an elite pass rush. The game is on the line, fourth quarter, 2-minute drill. Who do you want protecting your quarterback's blind side? Some free agent you signed in March? Some rookie you're hoping develops? Or do you want the guy who's been here since 2019, who started 92 out of 93 games, who knows this system inside and out? The answer is obvious. Falcons Nation, this is how you build a winner. Not with splash signings that get you headlines but disappear when it matters. Not with one-year rentals who are just here for a paycheck. But with homegrown talent that believes in what you're building. So here's what I need from every single one of you dirty birds out there. Share this video. Let the world know that the Atlanta Falcons aren't just talking about competing, they're doing it. They're making the moves that matter. They're building from the inside out. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you as fired up as I am about this extension? Do you understand now why this is bigger than just keeping an offensive tackle? This is about culture. This is about commitment. This is about championships. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, because the news I'm hearing about what's coming next is going to make this McGarry extension look like the appetizer before a 5-course meal. We're talking about moves that are going to have the rest of the NFC South shaking in their cleats. Remember, Falcons fans, rise up isn't just something we say, it's something we do. And with moves like this, we're not just rising, we're soaring. The rest of the NFL better be on notice. The Atlanta Falcons are building something special, and it starts in the trenches. This is your Atlanta Falcons 2025 update, bringing you the news that matters, the analysis you need, and the hype you deserve. Keep that energy high, keep that faith strong, and get ready for a season that's going to exceed your wildest expectations. Go Falcons!